But even on one leg, he led the Soviets to another medal, this time a bronze at the European Championships. And then, when his fellow Europeans finally joined the NBA, Arvydas stayed back home because of Gamelski. Sabonis was desperately wanted by the Portland Trail Blazers, who even hired Valdas Adamkus, the future president of Lithuania, to act as a mediator and persuade Sabonis to sign the contract with Portland. But while Adamkus was waiting to board his flight to Kaunas, he heard the news that Sabonis had already signed for the Spanish team Valladolid. Without Sabonis, the Blazers made the NBA Finals in 1990 and 92, but they couldn't get over the hump. If Sabonis had arrived in Portland in 1989, I'm sure we would have won several championships, and the history of the NBA would have been totally different. Clyde Drexler. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Arvydas finally got the opportunity he had dreamed of to compete with the Lithuanian national team at the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona. Lithuania had a fantastic generation, but the Russians collected all the money on their way out, and the Lithuanians didn't have enough funds to send their team to the Olympics. So the entire trip to Barcelona came into question. And then, one of the craziest stories in the history of basketball happened. Sarunas Marciulionis was playing in Golden State at the time, and mutual friends introduced him to Jerry Garcia and the rest of the Grateful Dead after a concert. And it turned out that Garcia was a big basketball fan, because when he heard about Lithuania's problems, he proposed a solution. Lithuania's players had to wear psychedelic t-shirts with the band's logo, and in return, they received the money needed for preparations and a trip to the Olympics. Sabonis and Lithuania played great, but in the semifinals, the Dream Team was simply too strong for everybody. Lithuania lost to the US, but they managed to defeat Russia in a bronze medal game with a monster 27-16 from Sabonis. Arvydas was the third best scorer at the Olympics with 24 points, and the leading rebounder with 13 boards. He was extremely happy after the bronze medal win and got so drunk that he didn't even appear at the medal ceremony. The medal in Seoul was gold, but this bronze is our soul, he said when he sobered up. After this, Sabonis kept winning medals with the national team, grabbing a silver medal at the 1995 Eurobasket and another bronze at the 96 Olympics. At the club level, Sabonis once again nearly ended up in Portland, but they were too hesitant when he became a free agent in 1992. And then Real Madrid, the richest club in Europe, swooped in with a $1.5 million contract, which was more than Portland was willing to offer. As Sabonis liked it in Spain, he decided to sign a contract for 3 years. Although his health and mobility were severely impaired by then, Arvydas showed that he had no competition in Europe. With Real, he won the EuroLeague title in 1995 and was voted as the MVP of the Final Four. In his 6 seasons in Spain, he averaged 21 points, 12 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks per game, with 55% shooting and 39% from 3. And while this doesn't sound like much by NBA standards, bear in mind that the teams rarely averaged more than 70 points in 40 minutes of game time in Europe. During the 1995 season, the Blazers management made one final attempt to lure their prized draft pick to finally come overseas. But knowing his injury history, the Blazers wanted to make sure that Sabonis was physically able to withstand the rigors of the NBA. And when the results of his physical came back, they shocked everybody. Arvydas should get a handicapped parking spot based on his x-rays, Blazers doctor Robert Cook half-jokingly concluded. However, despite everything, the Blazers believed Sabonis could still help them. And finally, 10 years after he was initially drafted, Sabonis came to the NBA for the 95-96 NBA season, signing a 3-year deal for $8 million. At 31 years old, he was the oldest NBA rookie ever at the time, but we really doubt that anyone made the 7'3" Sabonis buy donuts for the team. And despite not being able to run like he used to, and playing with constant pain, Arvydas was still doing what he did best. When he arrived in Portland, it took a while for his teammates to get used to the fact that such a big man could have such a great basketball IQ. I would pass the ball to the high post and start to move through the paint, and the ball would hit me in the head. I said, where does this giant get such an overview of the game? Said his teammate Rod Strickland, until he realized that he must always keep a close eye on what Sabonis does when he has the ball. In his rookie season, Sabonis mainly came off the bench, averaging 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists in just 24 minutes of playing time, shooting 55% from the field and 38% from 3. In the playoffs, he was even better, averaging 23 and 10 with 55% shooting from 3. He finished second in voting for the 6th Man of the Year award. With Sabonis and the team, Portland made the playoffs in all 7 seasons of his NBA career, but the closest they came to a title was in 2000. That season, the Blazers were a fantastic team, with a combination of proven vets like Scottie Pippen, Detlef Schrempf, Sabonis, and Steve Smith, alongside talented young players in Jermaine O'Neal, Damon Stoudemire, Bonzi Wells, and All-Star Rasheed Wallace. The Blazers defeated the Timberwolves and the Jazz to reach the Western Finals against the mighty Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. After 6 games, the series was tied, and in Game 7, Portland had a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter and already had one foot in the finals. Shaq, who won the MVP that year, could bully every other center in the league, but against Sabonis, who was bigger than him, his numbers dropped. However, in the fourth quarter of Game 7, the Blazers missed 13 shots in a row, and the Lakers made an improbable comeback, highlighted by the most memorable play of Kobe and Shaq's career in LA. After this loss, Portland collapsed, fully embracing the nickname Jailblazers. And in the next few seasons, there were constant problems with the team. And in one instance, Sabonis nearly killed Rasheed Wallace.
Shaq hits him, Sabonis flops, hits one of our teammates in the mouth, chips a 2. Dude is going off, and Sabonis looks at me just like this. I will kill him.
In 2002, Sabonis retired, but then made a comeback in 2003, playing 14 minutes per game before finally retiring from the NBA. However, Sabonis still wasn't completely done with basketball, deciding to join his hometown Žalgiris for one last season. And he went down in style. At the age of 40, Sabonis led Žalgiris to the top 16 of the EuroLeague and was elected MVP of the EuroLeague regular season, leading the league in blocks and rebounds. All players who played with or against him had nothing but praise for the Lithuanian giant.
Arvydas was Dirk Nowitzki, only 7'4", okay? Shot threes, passed the ball like Larry or Magic.
It was unbelievable because he was a big guy who can move, who can shoot, who can pass.
His younger days, like Sabonis was probably the most dominant big man to play the game because he could put it on the floor, not no crossover shit or nothing like that. He could shoot the 3. Sabonis probably the best big man passer that I've played with.
Sabonis was a hybrid between Shaq and Jokic. And if he came to the NBA in the mid-'80s, before all his foot injuries and with all the athleticism and shooting prowess, maybe we could have had pace and space positionless basketball 30 years ago. Thank you for watching Nonstop. And for more videos like this, click on our next video.